Recently, Elon Musk is tweeting like he owns the platform or something, much to the displeasure and the dismay of a lot of blue check marks. And he is just dropping so many red pills, it should be illegal. Look at this. The far left hates everyone, themselves included. He's even tweeting this meme with Mini Beanie. Here's an example of Twitter's left-wing bias. We have to take into consideration context. Twitter's interpretation of the context is affected by their left-wing bias. I would need to see an example of that. To which, of course, Mini Beanie invited Muski to his mansion so that they can have an interview. But my favorite one has to be this. And this is something that a lot of people relate to. You got people being on the center left. And then on the right is the conservatives. And on the left are other liberals. And then the left goes really, really far to the left. And they create this new ideology of woke progressivism. And they call you a bigot. Now, notice how you didn't really move. It's just that the center has moved. And now you find yourself on the right. So a lot of people are resonating with this. I have seen this being tweeted time and time again. But apparently a journalist has debunked this. They have debunked this. And the way they debunk this is with mucho texto. Look at this. Mucho texto. Mucho texto. And graphs and mucho texto. Okay. So in 2008, George W. Bush was president. And let's see what it would have taken for a person to be considered center-left. I guess an atheist would have been considered center-left because the right wouldn't want to have anything to do with you. A person that was pro-gay marriage would have been considered center-left because, again, like the right-wingers were very religious, especially the Bush supporters, and they were pushing for intelligent design in schools. Free speech was also considered a leftist position at the time. There were the piety warriors that would try to get people fired for opinions. They didn't have social media, but they would have the concerned citizen writing letters and trying to get things pulled off air. So, yeah, free speech. If you were also for peace, if you are anti-war, it was also a leftist position because the right-wingers at the time, the Bush supporters, they were patriots. And to be a patriot, it was pro-being war, especially in Iraq. Right? So that was like a center-left position. Now, if you hold all of these things, it doesn't necessarily make you a leftist. Like, the question is, do you believe trans women are women? If you answer no, then you're not a leftist. I mean, look at J.K. Rowling, right? Like, J.K. Rowling has literally every left-leaning position that you can imagine. She's pro-open borders, supports left-wing candidates, she was against Brexit. Like, literally every single checkpoint, she's on the left, but she doesn't think men can have uteruses, and because of that, she is hated. Like, she is not considered to be on the left. And, I mean, look, even Obama, when he took office, he probably didn't think that trans women were women. I mean, Obama in the beginning was against gay marriage. I just want to remind people that. Okay? And I think like Obama was considered a leftist. Now, imagine someone that would be against gay marriage today if he were to be considered a left. People would consider him like a far-right extremist. So, I don't know, like, the mucho texto and how things have changed and blah-de-blah-de-blah. No, clearly, like, if you have a time machine and you were to get leftists from 2008 and pull them all the way into 2021, they would be considered far-right extremists. Obama himself, yeah, like Obama himself in his first term, if you were to pull him in today and he would have the exact same views, he would have been an extremist. And it's not just on those issues. I mean, the concept of like socialism and, you know, like actual people who are openly Marxists, I mean, that wouldn't have flown in 2008. And in 2008, if you're a politician and you would claim that you're open Marxist or you're supporting Marxist organizations, you would have been fired. And not because, like, the right-wingers would be against you. No, like, the left would be against you. CNN would be against you. Because it was an entirely different political compass. You don't need the mucho texto. in order to show that, oh, well, this is not the case, the right-wingers have actually moved more to the right. I'm sorry, but it wasn't the right-wingers that decided to play Papers, Please with your waiter. When you go to a restaurant, you have to show QR code. Because that was very progressive, wasn't it? And if you disagreed with that, well, you're an extremist, right? I genuinely do not understand how these people are having, like, the concept of, like, oh, yeah, mucho texto, so it must be true. Dude, you do realize that people are going to trust their own personal lived experiences more than the mucho texto. Like, this stuff is viral because it resonates with so many people. I mean, in order to be a racist today, you just need to make the claim that you do not like the new Lord of the Rings TV show. I mean, in 2008, if you went there and you said, hey, I don't really like this TV show because it's not true to the adaptation, to the source material, they're doing some bizarre race swapping there, like most leftists would get like, I can see what you mean. I mean, we're talking about a time when people freaked out because Supergirl didn't have the correct hairstyle. Because it wasn't realistic compared to the comic books. Like, any small change, any small detail, people would just be like, yeah, that's not like in the book. It shouldn't be there. You would change the armor on Batman or on Superman, and people would freak out, and they would say, oh, well, that's not okay. That's not correct. That's not true to the source material. But now, if you complain about these changes, which, again, are just done for ideological purpose, not because they add anything to, oh, you're a racist. That's all it takes. That's literally all it takes. So, no, like, the values are different. The political compass is different. The goals are different. I mean, the concept of equity. The concept of equity didn't exist in 2008. People on the left used to talk about equality, but now equality is not good enough. No, now they need equity. So what is equity? Well, let's say that they would want at the university 50% of students to be women. So they would have various scholarships, various ways to make it more easy for women to join at the university. And they would actually get their number. They would get 50% women, 50% men at that university. So now they have equality. Well, let's say that over time, the number of women increases. So now there's like 60% women and 40% men, 70% women and 30% men. Now, instead of like removing the things that facilitated for more women to join, because like they achieved the goal, they will say, no, now we need equity because of historical injustices, because of systemicismus, we need to maintain this, right? So the concept of equity is a concept of unfairness towards a group of people, but it's fair because of historical injustices or whatever they would say, right? This didn't exist in 2008. Like in 2008, the concept of equity did not exist on the left. The left wasn't doing book burnings in 2008. And by book burnings, I mean what they're doing now on Amazon, like trying to ban books. That was unthinkable, like, for a leftist at the time. So, yeah, I definitely do agree with Elon Musk. You can't convince me with mucho texto. But let me know what you guys think in the comment sections, and I'll see you all there.